What is up, geeks and gamers? It's your boy Q
and QMG,
and we're back to bring you guys the most amazing and awesome podcast into the QUNIVERSE, where we talk to you guys about everything geeky, gamey, and nerdy. And what a lovely, beautiful Sunday, June the 9th, where we just came from watching E3. And before we start that up, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk a little something about a movie that I think I have some of my own ideas about seeing or not seeing. And we want to see what QMG got to say about X-Men, Dark Phoenix.
I mean, I haven't seen it yet. I would like to see it.
And just your impressions off the trailers and everything.
From the impressions I got off of the trailers have been looking phenomenal. For my opinion, it's very much a lot of, how can I put this? It's very subdued. You can tell they're going to have the X-Men fighting and the X-Men powers display. But like I've always said, the misnomer about the Dark Phoenix saga in general is that it's a large, epic space battle, and that's certainly a part of it. But the true essence, story-wise and just character-wise, is Jean Grey and her coming to terms with this large amount of power, her own limits. It's like the same. I have the same feeling and hope for this movie like I had for Logan, the last Hugh Jackman Wolverine movie, where the comic book storyline is very bombastic and very in your face and has a lot of, sight things that you want to say, as appealing to the eye. But the story, when you take all that away, the story is still very much strong enough to stand on its own and be phenomenal. So that's what my hope is for Dark Phoenix. And from what I've heard, I've seen a lot of people who never really like the X-Men movies in general. They have their opinions. I don't really care about it that much. But as far as the ones who, like the X-Men movies or just accepted it for what they were, I've heard some very good things about it. So my hope is to see it and give you guys a full comprehensive review of it when that comes.
Me personally, I haven't been a fan of the X-Men of this iteration, the first class iteration. I love James McAvoy and I love Michael Fassbender's character as Professor X and Magneto. Yes. But as far as the other characters, I don't know if I like it too much. So I don't think I'll be going to see this movie in theaters. I definitely will go catch it. I definitely will be catching it probably on DVD, but I won't be going to see it personally for myself. The characters haven't enthralled me. Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, I haven't liked it. The last one I liked it with First Class was iffy. But I liked Days of Futures Past, but I think that's only because they had the original cast in there. I didn't like it too much because of the new cast, but I definitely will catch that movie on DVD. But first, take a small break. Guys, we'll be starting, we're thinking about actually doing 2 podcasts. We're going to do a taped one, and we're going to do this live one still every Sunday. We'll keep you guys posted on the works on that, but we will be trying to bring you guys some more content throughout the week, so you guys stay tuned for that. And as well, by the end of tonight, going into tomorrow, we'll have our social media up and running with pictures and stuff where you guys can reach back to us and talk to us. So you guys stay tuned for that. I'll have that ready, like I said, tonight going into tomorrow. You guys could go ahead and into the QUNIVERSE on Instagram, as well as Geeked Up Media on Facebook. So you guys stay ready for that.
Yeah, let's take a look at. We got some early comments. Let's take a look at it and see what everybody's saying.
What up, Jared?
We got Uncle James, our uncle.
What's up?
And you got Jared Brady. What's up, y'all? What's up? How y'all doing on this Sunday evening?
We definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. The love and support is well loved. You guys keep tuning in. We're going to keep bringing you guys great content. And we're going to talk to you guys like y'all family. You already know what's going on.
Yeah, and we got y'all been coming out, and just before we get into any more news, a lot of y'all have been showing up and showing out over these past couple of weeks. We very much appreciate it. We hope that our knowledge and our personalities are making it so you guys want to keep coming back and tuning in and listening to what we have to say. We're going to keep We're gonna keep, giving y'all the best that we keep giving out. You stick with us, we'll stay with you. And we'll never give you a reason to leave.
So, but all right, with that being said, we're gonna give a good old, like we always do, round of applause to you guys.
I guess we don't have to clap because they're doing clapping.
Bro, I feel like clapping too. Why we can't do both? But anyway, we're gonna move on today. June 9th, E3 started. Well, it didn't start, but the Microsoft press conference.
It started in a way because technically you could say Friday, but then it really wasn't that much. And then technically you could have said yesterday, but again, it wasn't that much. This E3 so far, to me, and I've seen a lot of other people come up with this same type of mindset, is that this is the E3 that probably won't have the biggest oh my god moments because of where it falls, because we can tell that this is when we're going to start transitioning over into the next generation of consoles, and you're not going to see a lot of crazy cool things. For instance, Sony, PlayStation, I think we talked about this on, I think the last podcast or the podcast before, Sony wasn't going to be at E3 this year, so really
we talked about that last week.
It falls on Microsoft and Nintendo this year to really bring in the oomph. And Microsoft was as it did last year, kicked off this year's festivities with their press conference, and they had a lot of interesting things. They talked about Gears of War 5, something they talked about last year. They talked about a new game mode, Escape, that's coming out. They showed a lot of interesting, cool-looking indie titles that's going to be coming. Their game service, Xbox Game Pass, where for $10 a month you have access to all of the Xbox One games that's come out for the most part, and a couple of older titles. You can play those. They talked about games expanding to that, and their new Ultimate Pass that gives you their Xbox Live, their Game Pass, and the Game Pass. If you have a PC, you can use it on that as well for $15 a month, which is a steal for that, because that's an absolute steal for that type of content and quality. If you're into that type of streaming and not necessarily going out and buying physical games. They talked about Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, man, I'm so hyped for that, man.
Yes,
that game's gonna be amazing.
We're gonna talk about that a little bit more in detail. And the next Halo Infinite, they closed it off. And probably the biggest news, which completely proves what I said wrong, definitely a couple of weeks back, is that they confirmed that their next console, still titled Project Scarlet,
2020.
By Christmas 2020, you should be able to buy the next Xbox. Q, what was your thoughts on this year's Microsoft press conference?
I feel like with all of the games we had since last year, I still felt like it was a little lackluster. But I definitely... Which one? Just refresh. Oh, sorry, guys. It's definitely lackluster. It's a lot of games that I felt very iffy about. A lot of the indie titles were very, very enjoyable. We had Gears. I think that was probably the biggest game for me. Gears and Halo. But those are two probably the biggest Xbox titles of all time, so that wasn't very far-fetched. But a lot of the indie titles really impressed me. As far as I really like 12 Minutes. For anybody who didn't watch the conference, 12 Minutes was a title where it's a character stuck in a time loop, and he has to figure out why this guy is coming to kill him and his wife. It looks really, really interesting. It's top down like the original Grand Theft Auto, so I'm really ready to see how that will work. And as far as that, I really enjoy just the enthusiasm about the games. As far as the games being lackluster, I was really enthused about how they're actually trying to push more games and the fun aspect. But as far as Project Scarlet, I wish I would have got a chance to see the system. We didn't see it, but we did see some of the graphics through Halo. The Halo Infinite gameplay, and when Master Chief booted up, I really saw the graphical improvements. Now, it wasn't just eye-popping, but this is early in the console. This isn't even in the final product, so we might get a even better graphical enhancement than that. But as far as the whole conference, the whole press conference, I give it a hard 6. What up, Kiera? What's up? Appreciate you for tuning in.
Yeah, I want to touch back on Project Scarlet. One of the things that I picked up on, and a lot of people also have picked up on, is that this console, and you could probably, and this will probably ring true for the PlayStation 5, but this console is no longer, like, it's the one thing they weren't touting as much as the other previous consoles is the lack of, oh my god, the graphical fidelity or quality. Now, and a lot of experts in this field have talked about it, consoles going forward is basically no longer on how realistic they want the game to look, but how fast you're going to be able to play the game. So
definitely,
when they were speaking about the load times and how they would use the tricks to make it seem like you're still playing the game, but you're really just in a load screen that you can move around in, and this was going back to the rumors we were talking about with the PS5 and eliminating all of the, how Spider-Man didn't have any load times in the beta build that they were using it for. That's what I can imagine. So while I know a lot of people, you said that you like the new graphics for Halo Infinite, I did as well. Some people online were kind of just slacking it off, saying it didn't look that much different than what current generation consoles were looking like. I don't think that's the point of these next generation consoles. I think that the point is making it look as smooth, run as fast, and make it so you don't have to wait to play these games. It's not like, I know, like, one of the big talking points that a lot of non-gamers talk about is, well, I can't imagine how the games are going to look in about the next 5 years. They're going to make it look like it's virtual reality or like it's another person standing next to you. I don't think that's the goal anymore. I just think that they want the games to look as crisp, not necessarily visually, but movement-wise. Like when your eyes are easier to keep pace with it, and you're not noticing it, slowing down. Like,
do you feel like we're getting to a point in the life cycle of video gaming in general where it's not as much about the graphics anymore, but now the specs? Like, recent, if you guys don't know, PlayStation has actually opened a beta for 16-player party chat, which Xbox has already had, but now PlayStation is trying to implement that into their own system. And I just want to ask you, do you feel like we're to a point where now it's not about the actual graphics, where graphics was the big thing, look at the new graphics, but now it's about what the system is capable of doing and cutting time, and as far as the certain little niche things like the party chat and
absolutely. I think that with games like Fortnite and all these other large scale games and just games like GTA, I don't think it's about graphics looking pretty, the graphics being the number one goal. I think it's about how much can you fit into a game so people can play it forever. Like, that's like when you do like recent interviews, when you like, whether it's Ed Boon with NetherRealm, whether it's like some of the people speaking at the Microsoft press conference or Nintendo, the goal nowadays isn't to make the game look pretty, it's to make sure it plays the best and that you keep playing it. It's something that you just keep playing and you keep playing, and the only way to do that is to focus on the game entirely on its own and making it the biggest, most expansive, most something to do game you can possibly do that. And I agree, because like some of the best games, most well received games, are games that take a retro style look, or not something that's the most gives you makes you go, wow, this could be the realest thing ever. It's wow, this fits its tone. Like games like Cuphead. It was one of the best received games in 2017, and it was an old 1930s-esque video game with aesthetics of the old Looney Tunes and Walt Disney cartoons. And that wasn't some large-scale CGI fest. It was just something that was palatable and pleasing towards the eye. Another example is something like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The Nintendo Switch's hardware is very much inferior to the Xbox One X or the PS4 Pro, but yet the world is so large, and even though it's a pretty HD game, it does the art style doesn't lend towards the HD aspect. It lends towards how it's able to make the game run smoothly and makes it so you're feeling the aesthetics, not just going, wow, this is the most. It's like I'm watching myself in the game. It's like, no, the game is just, it looks good for what it is, and it just plays well as
Let's go to some of these comments from my boy Beast Mode. Willie Beast Mode Hayes. Yes, sir. I believe that we have mastered graphics, and now it's on to context, structures, and load time. I think definitely that's what they're leaning to. And Big Von, what up with you? Yes, sir. Big Von. Shout out. My bro Brian, you ugly as a mug too, boy. Appreciate y'all for tuning in though. With that being said,
what's some of the people that's tuning in right now that haven't left the comments? I can't kind of.
Oh, you can't see, but you got glasses on.
Yeah.
What up, Timmy? What up, my boy, Big Tim? What up, Maya? Appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Yeah, because I've been seeing the green names. I'm like, man, the glasses really not making it that easy to see them small words.
But yeah, so we're gonna talk about something. I got a topic. A game that I was really hyped for that was really kind of let me down from the first iteration that we've seen at E3, and that was Star Wars: The Last Order.
Yeah, that
Hold on, no, we gotta do my sad one, man. We gotta do my sad. Where is it at, man? You know where it's at.
Oh wait.
Sad violin,
right there.
Man, it really let me down, man.
Yeah, I can say like, let's let the beat ride.
It really let me down, man.
I was expecting let me before I go into my tangent. We go into our tangent because I know you probably got a lot more to say about it than I do. As far as the lore and how it fits into the larger Star Wars universe, I feel like it's going to do that well. Forrest Whitaker, he was a character in the Star Wars for like the past 5 years. His character is going to play a significant role and add towards a lot of the themes that's around this time period in Star Wars, and that's just the one character they confirmed. So there's no telling which other characters that are, kicking around this time that's going to show up. And the graphics look pretty well done for a Star Wars game. It definitely looks. It doesn't look as good as Battlefront 2 did, but then again, Battlefront 2 kind of was its development was kind of in the wrong place. So I'm pretty sure they probably wanted it to make it look pretty above all else.
I mean, just PSA, I love the Battlefield game. I mean, the Battlefront games, but 1 and 2 were awesome. I loved them. So
yeah,
I'm one of the people who actually liked it.
But yeah, going back to the overall gameplay, it's the last real action Star Wars games, The Force Unleashed 1 and 2, in my opinion, were phenomenal. And the whole premise was you're a Force user and you're just using it in all these crazy ways. You're grabbing the star spaceships with your Force powers. You're disintegrating people. You're using 2 lightsabers. It's very fun, and it was very much giving you the power trip that the movies weren't giving to the Star Wars fans at the time. And I was kind of hoping that if they ever went in an action-oriented direction again, they would improve upon that, because there's been a lot of great action games to come out since and follow that formula. But this game is just, it kind of looks bare bones. It's like almost, I know one of the words used to describe it was safe. Like, it was very safe. And it just, nothing stood out. Some of the dialogue felt forced and like something that would have probably flew if the Star Wars original trilogy or even the prequels were just out and about, but nothing really just enthralling about the characters so far that I've seen. Nothing really enthralling about the story elements or the worlds. Like one of the main, like the demo they showed, once again, it's like one of the, I guess it's just one of the go-to ideas in a Star Wars game is that you have to save Chewbacca's race of aliens at some point in the game, and this demo showed virtually that. It didn't jump out like I hoped a Star Wars game of this caliber would. What are your thoughts, Q?
I really agree with the words you use, safe. I really think it was very safe. I would have preferred it to be open world, where it's kind of like Assassin's Creed almost, where you really can't be seen by any type of authority figure.
Yes.
As being a Jedi, where they will chase you and try to kill you and defeat you. I felt like it was safe just putting it in this Uncharted Tomb Raider style.
Oh yes.
Level-based linear, when I feel like Star Wars has so much lore.
It was surprisingly linear. Even the one instance where it kind of looked like you can choose your path, it really wasn't that much like different than what they would have. You still ended up with the same end goal. It wasn't like you completely changed the scenario. It was just, you take out this one stormtrooper before you take out these other stormtroopers. It was like, even to say something in the veins of Tomb Raider or Uncharted is kind of giving it too much credit, because
it will, just from the simple fact how the characters move and everything. They slowed down the movement of what like from Force Unleashed to this game.
Yes.
They slowed down the movement of the protagonist. So I feel, like I said, linear. And it didn't feel like they were trying. It felt like, oh, we messed up on Battlefront, so let's kind of scale it back and do what we need to do to make people love Star Wars and set it up for the next movie. So I felt like it was really linear. They didn't take any risks. The Stormtroopers, they talk about the Stormtrooper AI. I didn't see really anything different from The Force Unleashed as far as how the Stormtroopers react and how they move. You still have your natural, I can deflect blasters, I can grab you and put you in front of. That wasn't anything different from Force Unleashed as far as grabbing the Stormtrooper and moving it around.
If anything, it was kind of toned down. Because in The Force Unleashed, and this was because they didn't really introduce this concept. In The Force Unleashed, you couldn't stop the lasers. And I'm pretty sure they incorporated that for this game because in the newer Star Wars movies, they showed a Force wielder stopping lasers. Yeah. So but you most definitely, because in the Force Unleashed, you didn't just grab them by their collar and put them in front of the laser. You grabbed a Stormtrooper, you could have flung him into a spaceship, and then when the spaceship exploded, you could have grabbed the debris and threw it at somebody. It was a lot you could do in the Force Unleashed, and it just feels like instead of just making a third or a spiritual successor, they just, like you said, and like just made a linear, safe Star Wars Jedi game that looks pretty, but it probably won't play too dynamic.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, if the main character from this game ends up in the next movie, I will feel more attached to this game.
Oh yeah,
I feel like it's connected now. Now, if you guys don't know, the main character of this Star Wars game, Last Jedi, is actually one of the biggest villains on Gotham. If you guys seen Gotham, the character Jerome and his twin brother, who are the definitive Jokers of that show. He plays a great role in that. You guys, if you haven't seen Gotham, go check that out. But he's the main character in this game as the Jedi. So if he's actually in the next movie, I will feel more attached to this game. I'll find a newfound respect for it.
Yeah, same thing here. But for me, it's the inverse, because even though I doubt if they'll have him older, because this is this is another Star Wars story that takes place in between episodes 3 and 4. Personally, if they're going to do any cameos, I would love to see the character from Star Wars Rebels show up at this point in time, because they are canon. They do matter to the overarching story.
My number one person I need to see, Ahsoka. We need to see Ahsoka in a Star Wars movie.
And she well, I'm talking about the game, but she definitely would be awesome to see in the game as well, as a character that, which ties into everything else. And she absolutely can show up in the movies as a quick aside. But yeah, the Star Wars, the Jedi, the Fallen Order was a game that when I first heard about it, I was intrigued, and I was hoping I would see a lot of more cool things about it. But to me, it just and I hate to do this for a game that literally isn't just got announced not too long ago, and this is literal first gameplay. So hopefully stuff can change, but I feel like it should be looked a lot better and played a lot better in demo. So hopefully that changes between now and its November release date. So
also, guys, take a quick minute. We didn't even talk about the newest game console that was announced. We talked about the Google we talked about the Google merger, but we didn't talk about the Stadia.
Oh yeah, well,
we didn't get a chance to even discuss it. We didn't even discuss the Stadia.
Well, pretty much. You
go ahead and can run them a synopsis of what the Stadia is.
So the Stadia is essentially the video game console for people who don't play video games. It's by Google. Their hook is that any game that comes out that's a multi-platform game that's not specifically tied to Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo, you would be able to play it on your Stadia, which is the device they're selling, or your laptop or your smartphone if you have the Stadia service. What they fail to tell you, and I had to do some follow-up research on it, is that you can't download the games and play it offline even if you have the service. And most importantly, if you do not have one of those cool Southern/Northern California top tier A+, not Xfinity or ATT Universe or any of those, if you don't have the Google Fiber or the Spectrum Internet, you ain't playing them games like you be playing them on the PS4 and Xbox One. Like, it sounds good that you can theoretically have them at a lower price than buying them retail physical, but at this current stage in reality, considering the fact that Comcast and AT&T have a monopoly on the internet service in a lot of metropolitan areas in the United States, especially from the Midwest to the East Coast, you're not going to be able to fully enjoy the way the game is meant to be played. Just like we haven't reached that point just yet.
Now, with that being said, do you feel that the Stadia is the new aging video gaming as we know it? Go ahead, let it out. Yeah, go ahead and say it. I know what you're gonna say. Come ahead.
Hell no. Not even a little.
So why do you feel that way? Do you feel like
because, like I said, it's not only pandering to people who don't play video games, but it's made by people who don't play video games.
Fun fact: if you guys watched the conference, the guy who's the head of this flagship system came out on stage and said, just to be honest with you guys, I'm not one of the guys who plays games like that. That is not a way you start off a conference about a video game conference.
And that's the number one thing that's the number one problem. Is that when you look at Microsoft, when you look at Sony, when you look at Nintendo, when you look at any of these other people who've made video games before or since, that's their bread and butter, video games. And understanding that and then creating a business out of it. You can't be business first, video game second, because you're going to do all of the things you're not supposed to do. And all the things you're supposed to do, you're not going to think of until it's too late. And then the people who are very, 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 very good at it, Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo, are going to take your ideas that probably sounded good but executed poorly, and then execute them correctly.
So the gist of it, the Stadia, now mind you, if I have the opportunity to try it and play it, I will. I'm always down to play any game system. But personally, my first impressions and overview of it at this point, I'm not impressed.
Yeah, I'm super not impressed. It's going to go the way of the Ouya and all of these other
and the Stream gaming system box thing.
Yeah, that too. That we don't even know the official name. It's going to go the way of that, unfortunately, and it's like I said, it's an idea that Sony. I'd be highly surprised if Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo don't pick up as a business model in the future to do on their own merits. But as far as Google Stadia goes, it's not gonna. Like they'll have to do a complete 180 before the PS5 and Xbox Scarlet comes out to even stand a ghost of a chance.
Let's get a couple of these comments and a couple of these people watching it,
and then we'll do some quick fires.
What's up, Willie? I appreciate it. Comes from Slack. Oh, come on, man. The Stadia is we gonna talk. We gonna give it a chance. We're gonna talk about it a little bit more. We gonna cut them some slack just because you asked, man. Tasha, appreciate you for tuning in. Big Will, appreciate you for watching. Y'all, appreciate y'all, man. Love and support is well much appreciated. You guys keep tuning in. But now we're gonna talk back to E3. Switch back over to it because we still have another conference tomorrow, right?
Well,
because we have the reveal of the Marvel game.
Well, yeah. Well, before we go back into that, let's go into some quick fire things that popped up.
Okay, quick fire. Give me some quick fire.
So this week in Nerd and Gaming, a quick little thing. We've recently had in the comic books. There's been a huge DC event called Doomsday Clock, and it's been basically.
I'm talking about the Watchmen crossover.
That's what I'm about to get into. The Doomsday Clock is about the one of the greatest comic book graphic novels of all time, Watchmen, being integrated into the DC universe, and how over the past 5 years, how one of the major characters, the major villain rather, Dr. Manhattan, has been manipulating the whole last 5 years of DC universe continuity, and how they're going to overcome this character and set things right. And the 10th issue came out last week, but it's been a lot of talk and debate online about the implications about it. So Q, my quick fire thought to you is, what is something that you would like to see in comics that would change something that you've read about or heard about?
I would like Dick Grayson to get his name back.
because for a quick little and just to let you know what Quinn's saying, Dick Grayson is now Rick Grayson. He got shot in the head and got amnesia, and all of the character traits he's had for all of these years are gone. And now he's a completely different character. And
that's the biggest thing. Dick Grayson get his name back.
For me, it would be Spider-Man getting his marriage back and being a fan.
I thought they gave him that back.
I wish.
One More Day still exists right now.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. But he's back with Mary Jane, though, isn't he?
I think so.
Okay.
The second thing I would like to talk about is DC has announced, and Warner Brothers rather has said that
Brightburn 2.
That's complete. Warner Brothers has announced that the only movie showing up at Comic-Con this year is It 2, and that is for a specific scary horror movie specific panel, and that as far as it's being said, no DC movies currently slated for the next year and a half. That includes The Joker, Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 84, or the Suicide Squad 2, or The Batman will be at Comic-Con in an official capacity. And Q, what are your thoughts on that?
DC is just up in the air right now. Those guys are running around with chickens with their heads cut off. I have no idea what these guys are doing. The new cast Batman, no talks on a Justice League 2. All we see is teasers of Wonder Woman. I really can't even put my finger on what DC is trying to do right now. It's like those guys are just throwing sticky notes at a wall and seeing what sticks, man. I don't even know.
Yeah, as much as I love DC and the DCEU as a whole, I've loved Wonder Woman, I love Aquaman. I still have yet to see Shazam, but everybody's told me that it's the jam, and I really love it. And I'm very much looking forward to all of the movies, well, with the exception of one. But I'm looking forward to mostly all of the movies. But I agree, it's a lot of the movies. You can tell the people making the movies, not the directors and the producers and the actors. They want to put out the best product. But as far as Warner, it's not even DC. It's Warner Brothers. Just seems to constantly just put unnecessary roadblocks in the way of this franchise that has a core dedicated fan base that wants to support it, and don't fugaze out and don't sit back and judge it like other people, outsiders, might judge it, but have a core fan base that loves it, and they just completely mess it over. But that leads into the third quick fire event. Is that almost to keep the DCEU fans from burning Twitter and social media to the ground after learning that news, the GOAT Patty Jenkins dropped the first official poster for Wonder Woman 84 along with the release date of June 5th, 2020, and confirming that the official promo tour for the movie kicks off this December. Q, what are your thoughts on the poster and the movie as a whole?
The suit look dope. The suit looks fire. Off the chain. I would definitely see it. I haven't seen Wonder Woman 1, but she was definitely my favorite character in Justice League. By far. So I would definitely love to see her next outing. Like I said, her costume was A1, on point. I don't see nothing Gal Gadot can do wrong as Wonder Woman right now.
Okay, and to our final quick fire question. Marvel has begun releasing pictures. Let me rephrase that. The first behind-the-scenes photos of the Black Widow movie has surfaced online, and people have been trying to dissect it from the hairstyle to the clothes to see what in the timeline this movie falls on, because spoilers, again, for Endgame, Black Widow is currently dead. She died in Endgame. Don't get me started on that. It should have been Hawkeye.
No, here we go.
Black Widow died in Endgame, so this movie is going to take place sometime in the past. It's going to most certainly take place in the past. So, Q, along with Black Widow and the confirmed Eternals movies that is picking up speed in development, what are your thoughts on, with the exception of Spider-Man: Far From Home, what are your thoughts on the rumored and confirmed upcoming movies for the MCU?
Before I answer that, I want to give a shout out to John and Kirsten. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Wes, what's up, my boy? Appreciate y'all for watching, man. I appreciate it. Love and support. Like I always say, it's much appreciated. We're going to keep bringing y'all guys these podcasts. We're going to keep it going. And like I always say, you guys chime in too. Let me know what you guys think in the comments so we can get back to y'all too, man. Let us know. Holla at us. We talking to y'all. Y'all talking to us. We're conversating. Let us know how y'all feel. Let us know what's going on. But with that being said, as far as what we were just talking about this last quick fire, it's hard to explain.
You're just waiting for the X-Men and Fantastic Four to show up.
It's hard to explain because I'm torn. I don't really know how to say it. Black Widow really hurt me knowing that she's not gonna be this isn't gonna be a direct sequel. I don't wanna make it sound like, oh man, I'm just hating on Marvel. That's why it was so hard to come out, but I just feel like I want Black Widow's movie to be a sequel. I want it to be something...
a continuation of her adventures.
Now, this is what I kind of theorized or made up my own directorial statement in my head. I would like this could be a good swerve. The whole movie is a movie that looks like it's a prequel, but it ends up being a Black Widow from an alternate universe or alternate multiverse that we're talking about, where she's actually a Black Widow that's more akin to the Black Widow from the comics, where she's Black Widow, so she still can't be trusted because she could switch sides just like that.
I mean, they confirmed it's a prequel.
Yeah, I know, but that was, like I said, that was just
that would have been dope for sure. My wishful thinking is that it does take place in the past, but one of the post-credit stingers is spoilers again. When Captain America, once they beat Thanos in Endgame, he had to return the Infinity Stones to the point in time where he took them. What I want to see is in a post-credit stinger when he goes to the planet that they got the Soul Stone from, just revive Black Widow and give the Soul Stone back, and then she was with him. Like, that's the first place he goes, and she was with him helping set some of the things right that needed to be set right. So she's alive. Her death still counts technically, but she can come back whenever she wants to. And plus, that would be a thing because, like, in the last 2 years, Black Widow did die in the comics, but she came back, and
everybody comes back.
But she came back like pretty quickly after she died, and she's currently like a ghost. Like, there's like no one knows if she is alive, but her friends and her teammates aren't entirely sure of that, and she's using that to her advantage to keep the world safe from in the shadow.
Bless your soul, son.
Excuse me. Thank you. So that's my personal thing. But that'll be the end
of Quickfire. Yes, that is the end of Quickfire. Now,
and we're gonna come up with an official name for our Quickfires. But as it stands, our Quickfires names is. And his name is John Cena.
Gotta insert John Cena into everything. Speaking of John Cena, just a quick John Cena fact. I guess we got John Cena facts now, guys, since he throws that out there. Quick John Cena fact. John Cena is definitely going to be in Fast and Furious.
Yes, he will be confirmed Fast and the Furious 9.
Definitely going to be in Fast and Furious. And from what QMG's told me, that Vin Diesel said, don't quote me, Vin, I don't know if you said this or not, he telling me all this stuff. But he said that John Cena put him in the mind of Paul Walker. So.
Yes, he said from one of the rumored recent interviews that they claimed that he said that when he first just saw John Cena, the spirit of Paul Walker emanated from him, and that's what led him to get him to be in Fast and Furious 9.
Yeah, so the spirit of Paul Walker, not the haircut. Yeah.
So that if that can infer anything, that would mean that John Cena will probably be one of the newest members of the family and be one of the good guys, which for a wrestling fan like myself, I really hope that The Rock and John Cena get to do cool stuff as teammates in this movie and whoop butt and drive cars and be crazy and do all that other stuff. But to the last topic, the last topic, you were going to go back to E3, so the last topic would be
the games that we're going to see in these next couple of hours and next day.
Yes. You want me to use
okay, I guess I can start it off. Definitely the one game that I'm looking for is this Marvel Square Enix game. I'm so ready to see what these guys do. I'm so hyped for this game. By the way, thank you, Grandma Dorothy. Love you. Appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you so very much. Well, Brian, appreciate you for tuning in, man. Y'all, Darian, what's up? Appreciate y'all, man. I love the support. Y'all keep tuning in. We're gonna keep bringing it for y'all, man. But with that being said, the Marvel Square Enix, man, I'm so ready to see what they do with these worlds, this graphics. I've been waiting on a game like this, and I'm definitely gonna put time into it.
Me too.
There isn't really anything else that I'm really highly anticipating. I'm ready for past E3. I'm ready for this Sony conference, whenever that is, to see about the place. Hopefully, the PlayStation 5 gets announced. But as far as E3 goes, there's really nothing I'm highly anticipating more than this Marvel game.
For me, it's the Marvel Avengers Square Enix game. And of course, for me, also Final Fantasy VII Remake. That game is. If it's in the vein of Final Fantasy 15, I'm fine. I just want the game. I don't care if it's turn-based, turntables 3 and the 3
DJ
and 1.
Hero Final Fantasy.
I don't care if all the do-rag on me, give me the black. I don't care where it is. I just want that Final Fantasy VII Remake. That is one of my all-time favorite games. A game I love to death. I've been waiting on this game for 5 years
to see Sephiroth
and Cloud and Tifa and all of the squad.
Yeah.
And past that, of course, big Nintendo is going to be closing out E3 this year. Confirmed we're going to get the next DLC character.
I keep forgetting Nintendo. I'm sorry, guys. Recant all. I keep forgetting Nintendo's at E3. I'm thinking they're going to do their own direct. Because I want to see if they're doing any new Legend of Zelda. I'm ready to see Luigi's Mansion 3.
The only Legend of Zelda we're going to be seeing is the Link's Awakening remaster. Mm-hmm. But other than that, we're not.
Excuse me, princess.
We're definitely seeing Luigi's Mansion 3, and we're going to see Pokemon Sword and Shield. Those are the 3 marquee games that they're promoting. That will be demo. That we have to specify that demo. Those are not the 3 marquee games we're going to be just talking. They're going to be talking about a whole other things.
Yeah.
So, like I was about to say, confirmed. The next DLC character for Smash will be announced this Tuesday at their Nintendo Direct. It's rumored to be 45 minutes, which for Nintendo Direct, that means they're going to give you the heat. We're going to probably hear about the new Fire Emblem game, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Probably you're going to hear something about Metroid Prime, whether it's number 4 or the Metroid Prime collection or for the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
More than likely, and this is me spitballing, we might get 2 DLC confirmations, because for the past couple of E3s where Smash has been a major factor, they've never just rested their laurels on one announcement. They've normally done 2. Last year, they announced the full roster and Ridley for Smash Ultimate. 2 years ago, when they were talking about Smash, they announced 3 DLC characters that came out on that day: Lucas, Ryu, and Roy. So, yeah, it's odd, and this is my personal opinion on it. Rumor has it that hopefully these are not the same guys who said Shigeru Miyamoto was going to be at the Microsoft conference. He wasn't. But the rumor is that Microsoft is going to have a significant announcement for the Nintendo Switch, because they've been like this for like the past 2 years now. Mm-hmm. So my guess is that we're going to get either 2 Microsoft characters or 1 Microsoft character.
Let them know who those 2/1 characters will be.
Either it's going to be Banjo-Kazooie and Master Chief, or it's going to be just Master Chief.
You think over Banjo?
I know
Banjo fits more in the game than,
but it's not
Master Chief.
But the DLC characters for Smash Bros. Have stopped being aesthetically pleasing since Cloud got announced. It's more so about who is a legend of video games. And while Banjo, and that's why I say 2, because Banjo is the obvious. Oh, Banjo. But Smash wants to surprise you. Wants to give you something that, not just give you what you want, but also give you something you didn't know you wanted, but you're going to accept and you're going to love. And that's why I say Master Chief, because Master Chief is one of the last true console exclusive characters that doesn't necessarily have to show up on a Nintendo console, and as far as one of his Halo games go, but just his character showing up on a Nintendo console while still being heavily attached to Microsoft can be amazing. Like, it's even been rumored that all of his Halo games, Halos 1 through 4, will end up on the Nintendo Switch.
Really?
Yeah, that's and
not to mention, to piggyback off of the Switch talk, there might be talks of like you've been saying, a new version of the Switch XL or a Pro version. But they or also the dockless.
But they said that they said that they won't announce that at E3. That'll be
at the direct.
That'll be its own direct.
Okay.
That they can have, that they'll, because they don't want to take any that type of announcement. They try to stay away from that because they don't want to take any attention from any of the newer games that they've already previously announced, which would be Luigi's Mansion 3 and Pokemon Sword and Shield. And Link's Awakening. They don't want to take away from that.
Definitely. But, guys, with that being said, like I always say, it's time to thug it on now. So, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is your boy Q
and QMG.
And we just brought you guys into the QUniverse. Like I always say, peace, love, and respect. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Once again, our social media be up later on tonight and first thing in the morning. You guys stay tuned for that. And we always gonna be here every Sunday. We'll be keeping you guys posted on our recorded version of the podcast, as well as our Sunday podcast that's gonna be live every Sunday. So you guys stay tuned in for that. And peace, love, and respect.
And good night and good luck.
Signing out.
Yeah.